Hello guys, my name is Alex, and as you can see we are starting a new series today, and we are driving with the classic cars, or we're doing a championship with the classic cars, and we will choose the Williams, the 92 Williams FW14B, and basically we are driving against the Ferraris, against the other Williams, and against the McLarens as well. And here you can see the race calendar. We will have 12 races across the globe, and yeah, those are races I quite enjoy, and hopefully it will be interesting. And in terms of the settings, we will have a little bit of training just to get used to the car and the track, and we will have no qualifying, which I'll explain later, and a 25% race. And today we are here for the Bahrain Grand Prix for the first round, and the reason we have no qualifying is because the performance of the cars is quite different. There are slower and faster cars, and this basically gives the slower cars the opportunity to score points as well. And on the other hand, the faster cars can also start from the back, like P20, and they have to fight their way through the field. So yeah, for us it will be quite interesting because at the start of every race we have no idea where we are starting, and coming into the first round I also had no idea how good the Williams was compared to the other cars. So we have to wait and see, and here we are for the first round.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck.
So here we are on the grid. It seems that we are quite far back. Unfortunately, I couldn't see where we are exactly, but in terms of strategy, we will go for the non-stop. I think the tires might be able to hold on. Um, and here you can see my setup. It's basically the setup I used in AOR, and normally it should work with the classic cars as well, although I didn't really try too many things there. I just tried to get used to the car, and here we are on the grid. We have 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go. Here you can see the full grid, all cars, and here we are. We are in P16, braking late into turn 1. Try to gain as much or as many positions as possible, although we have to be careful in order not to hit any cars. And you can see we are gaining a few more positions. It seems that the McLarens aren't really that quick, and we are able to go side by side into the right-hander. There was a little bit of contact, but our better traction helps us to get past, and we are already in P7 in the points, and now we have to wait and see whether we are able to close the gap to the cars ahead. At this point we don't really know how quick our car is, and it seems that we are not too slow. We catch the cars ahead a bit in this triple left-hander, so maybe we have a chance to attack them. We are braking, shifting down to third gear. We have a little bit of understeer in this corner, but we close the gap further. And now we are right behind the Ferraris, so maybe we are a match for them, or most likely as it seems. And now we have to see how good our straight line speed is. It seems that it's not perfect. We are losing a bit on the straight, but we are going for the cutback. Try to go slow in, fast out in order to be as quick as possible on the straight. And we are now in P6, side by side onto the straight. Let's see, are we able to make the move stick? We might have to brake really late into turn 1, and at the end we are able to make the position stick, which is really cool. We are up into P6 now, and at this point I was quite comfortable. I thought we might have a realistic chance to get at least a podium or maybe the race win, and we are now behind another group of Williams and Ferraris, and We know we are probably quicker compared to the Ferrari, so it's just about where we get them on the track. It seems that the straight is not really our friend. We gain most of our time in the corners and in the traction zones, so we might think about a move into the right-hander. We are braking really late and make the position stick, although it was quite risky. We were lucky not to have some sort of crash. And one lap later, we are right behind another Williams. I think it might be the 96 Williams from or driven by Damon Hill, and we closed the gap quite a bit in the right-hander and then in the left-hander. We are going for the move for the inside brake late, and at the end we were able to make the position stick. Now behind one of our teammates, and in lap 5 we were able to close the gap to him, and he is following a Ferrari, so they are fighting into turn 1. We are going for a different line in order to have a good exit and maybe challenge both of them if possible into the next right-hander. But we are not really gaining as much as I would have liked, so we are diving down the inside and we are not able to make the move stick just yet, although our better traction helps us there and we were able to make the move stick. Next up is the Ferrari, and we know we are probably a bit quicker compared to him, and we are closing the gap in the braking and on the acceleration, and later we are really close. The question is just how or where we can get him. We are able to take a lot more speed through the corners, and let's see, are we able to make some kind of move into the last corner? We are gaining, but it's not enough, so we have to wait on the straight. He goes a little bit defensive, so we are going for the left. Brake early in order to have a good line on the exit, and now we are ahead, although we have to be careful because they will have the slipstream behind us and they might be able to overtake us on the straight. And to be honest, at this point I was quite happy. I thought we might have a good chance of winning the championship or an easy way to fight for it, but I noticed quite early on that there still was another car which is incredibly quick, and that is the McLaren. You can see he already has a gap of over 14 seconds, and that was basically because the McLaren is around 1.5 to 2 seconds quicker a lap on this track. And yeah, this will be our challenge. We basically have to fight through the field in the first few laps, and after that we will have to defend for our lives because these cars are incredibly quick. And you can see he's already going for the move. We are again going for the different line and going onto the straight. Let's hope that we are able to stay ahead, but I think it might be very difficult. You can just see how quick he is on the straight. He's gaining and gaining, and he's now past. We try to brake late, but he's also better on the brakes, so now it's about maybe counter him or stay close. Maybe we have a chance on the next straight, but you can just see how much quicker he is on the straight, and this is what makes the series quite special, because those McLarens won't start at the top very often. Most of the time they will start quite far back, and our task is 1, to overtake the other cars as quick as possible, and 2, defend our position at the end. And yeah, hopefully we will be able to get a good result at the end, but at the moment we are in P3 and there's still another McLaren right behind us, and it's catching by quite some time. I think this McLaren is around 5/10 to 7/10 quicker a lap, and yeah, it's really close. Maybe if we really push to the max we might have a chance to defend our position from him, but it's very difficult, or it will be very difficult. And at the moment you can see my fastest lap. I hope you enjoy, and I will talk to you after the lap. here we are at the end of the lap. We were able to improve our lap by 4/10, and we already skipped to the end because basically we tried to push as much as possible in order to keep the gap, but the McLaren is now right behind us and we are now in the last lap and he's gaining and gaining onto the straight and we are now side by side. He's quicker, but I think if we brake really late into turn 1 we might have a chance to defend our position. He squeezes us onto the curbs and we are going now still side by side into the next few corner complex and we are again side by side onto the next straight. Again we try to brake really late in order to stay ahead somehow, and we're squeezing him out and somehow we were able to defend our position, although the fight is not over yet. He still has another chance on to the next 2 straights, the remaining 2, and so we have to make sure that we get really good launches out of this corner especially, and it seems that we were able to do so. The arrow disappears, which means that he's not really able to close the gap, and the first straight is over, so now it's about surviving the second one and then we might have a chance to finish on the podium, which would be great. The first McLaren was able to win the race by quite some time, but for us it's about finishing on the podium and get as much points or as many points as possible. He tried to go for a move, but at the end we were too far away, which means that we come over the line in P3, which I'll definitely take considering we had to start from the back of the grid.
Yes, we're on the podium. Good job this weekend, great drive, thank you.
So looking at the final results, we were best of the rest, but of course we try to improve on that in the future rounds and maybe challenge for victory if we are a bit lucky. And of course the drivers table is the same compared to the final results in the race as always. And yeah, that was the first race. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I hope to see you in the next one as well. Goodbye.